Hey there! Today we're talking about 5 ways to instantly catch more fish that you can start doing today, like right now. And the best part, none of these require buying expensive gear or crazy new techniques. These are just 5 things you can do, 5 things you can think about to up your catch rate and to increase your chances of success on your next fishing trip. So before we jump in, let me show you something crazy. See this fish right here? This is my personal best largemouth bass at this point. I caught it on a lure smaller than my pinky finger. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly why that mattered. Now let's just dive straight into tip number 1, fishing at the right time of day. Now, I know what you're thinking. I can only fish when I have time. So a lot of people immediately think, oh, okay, right time of day. I'm going to fish in the morning, I'm going to fish in the evening. But if your fishing time is really limited, you need to focus on the full and the new moon phases. This isn't just some old fishing tale. The legendary bass professor Doug Hannon, he tracked over 1,000 bass over 5 pounds and found that an incredible 90% of them were caught either during the full or the new moon periods. So think about that. The days around the full and the new moons, they only make up about 20% of each month, but they account for 90% of trophy bass catches. This is a pattern that you can use to your advantage. Timing is just the start, but wait until you see tip number 3. It's the one that completely changed my fishing game. You know, not like video fishing game, like my real fishing. You get the point. So, tip number 2 is something that transformed my catch rates. Slow down. Look at these two retrieves side by side. The one on the left is how most people fish, rushing through their retrieves, covering water, kind of moving as fast as possible. This is how I often fish, especially when I'm just searching for fish. The one on the right, that's how you should be fishing most of the times, especially in cold water. And think about it, fishing slower, your lure is in the strike zone longer. It gives fish more time to react. And smallmouth especially, they will study a lure before finally grabbing it. Some days the trout, they don't want to rise much off the bottom to bite. So if you're fishing too fast, you're also fishing too shallow. But here's what most people don't realize. Slowing down doesn't just mean retrieving slower. It also means working your spots thoroughly. So let me show you a little bit about what I mean. Most anglers are going to make 1 or 2 casts to a spot and then move on. Maybe a few. But this is kind of taking a tip from some of those avid trout fishermen. Some of these guys will sit in the same spot over and over and over. Now, some of that's because I think they're chasing stock trout, but there is something to learn here. So in this particular spot, I made multiple casts to essentially the same location, just changing my angles. You know, first I'm going to do a cast, do a straight retrieve. The second one, I'm going to let it sink. Third cast, maybe go through a slightly different zone. And this isn't just theory, it's the exact approach that helped me catch my first golden rainbow, and I use it all the time. And that giant unexpected largemouth that I caught in swift water when I was catching smallies, it was the same thing. I was just working the same area from multiple angles. And then there's the concept of fan casting. It's also part of slowing down. You know, it's working a spot methodically. First you start close up, right? And you make a few short casts and you work that area. And then you go a little bit farther and then you work that area. And then finally, you kind of swing for the fences and you bomb it out there and you take the longest cast. But this way you have a chance at catching those fish that are shallower or closer to you before you disrupt them with maybe bringing another fish in. It's a way to increase your catch rate. So here's a challenge for you. Next time you're on the water, count to 5 after your lure hits the water before you start your retrieve. Just 5 seconds. You may be amazed at how many bites you get during that pause or shortly after. And this even works with topwater. Sometimes you just cast to the exact right spot. That pause gives fish a chance to decide if they want to attack the lure that just invaded their space. Now there are a couple exceptions. Right? If you have sinking lures in shallow water that might get snagged, like inline spinners and trout streams. But even letting that sink for a second or two to get closer to the bottom, that can make a huge difference. You know, if you're really worried about snags, I get it. But losing lures to snags occasionally is part of the game. And what good is not losing a lure every now and then if you're not catching any fish? Now, slowing down only works if you're using the right size lure, which brings us to tip number 3. So tip number 3 might be controversial, but I promise it works. Fish smaller. You've heard it, and you've probably said it. Big lures land big fish. But remember that personal best that I showed you at the start? Let me tell you the full story. So this right here is a hover rig setup. You can see it's only about the size of my pinky. It weighs around 2 grams. It's got air channels in it. It's lighter than a pack of gum. I mean, it feels like it weighs next to nothing. Most people probably wouldn't even consider this to be a bass lure, but this is exactly what I was using. In fact, this might be the exact lure when I caught my biggest largemouth. This is why I'm such a huge believer in bait finesse. I mean, look at these setups. They're basically ultralight bait casters. You know, on the left, I've got a typical paddle tail swim bait, and on the right, you can see something like this finesse hover rig. Watch how naturally that smaller bait sort of moves around and flits in the water. It has what the Japanese call an eaten present.
食べられた存在
It looks like actual prey, not just some big bait making a lot of noise and thump. This is the Fish Arrow Flash J. I absolutely love it for my hover rigs. But I think in this lies the real secret to bait finesse. Smaller baits don't just catch small fish. And in fact, big fish, they often prefer smaller prey because it's an easy meal. Like, I kind of call them like bass snacks or bass candy. Sometimes the big ones, they're not after the big meal. Fishing small can make all the difference. Now, I'm not saying throw away all your bigger lures, although most of mine are just gathering dust these days. Even my Megabass Vision 110s, I threw one of them once last winter. So having these finesse options, especially when the bite gets tough, that's often the difference between getting skunked and catching fish. So here's a quick bonus tip too. Fish the same lures until you learn how to catch fish on them. I mean, I've got 500 lures downstairs. Almost every lure will work once you know how to work them. I think most of us would probably just do better with 5 lures to choose from. That's probably a video I should make. Let me know if you want to see that video and I'll work on getting that done. So even the perfect size lure won't help if you're not fishing the right spots, which brings us to tip number 4. Absolutely critical. You gotta fish the right spots. You know, I think most of us probably have 5, maybe 10 favorite spots that we fish every single day. It's Saturday, you got time to go fishing, you know where you're going. It's the same place all the time. Now, I know I had my favorite 4 or 5 places the first 28 years I lived in Pennsylvania. But when I retired, I found over 100 spots within a 2-hour drive of my house. Honestly, I still haven't fished all of those. But here's the thing. This isn't just about finding good spots. It's about fishing the right spots within those spots. So let me show you what I mean. You know, most anglers see a spot like this and they start casting randomly. But there are actually 3 levels to fishing a spot effectively. So the first one is find the better spots on the map, right? And then within those, look for these 3 things: cover, structure, and access to deep water. That fallen tree next to a deep bend, that's not just a snag, that's a perfect spot. For smallmouth fishing, sometimes just a change in structure on the bottom is a great indicator. So if the bank goes from rock to dirt or dirt to rock, it probably does the same thing beneath the water, and there's probably some fish holding in that spot. So the next level is fishing those right spots within the spot. So let's say on a lake, you have a laydown. When I find these, I'm targeting the deepest branch, ideally where it intersects with the drop-off first. That's where the ambush point is for that big fish. That's where the bigger ones are going to be. Typically. Sometimes they're pushed up way shallow, but you start there, similar to the previous tip. We're going to start the closest to us, right? And then we'll fish up towards the bank instead of hitting the bank first and maybe scaring away the biggest of the fish by pulling a dink off the bank. And here's another thing that a lot of people don't think about. Fish suspend at different depths throughout the day. So if you're only fishing the bottom, you're missing a whole zone of active fish. Going back to tip number 2, if we vary the amount of time that we let the lure fall and then vary our retrieve speeds, that's critical if you're not getting bites the way you're fishing. It allows you to fish these different depths. So now, here's another bonus tip. Keep a log of where and what depth you catch fish. After a while, you'll start seeing patterns. The best anglers I know, they don't remember just where they caught the fish. They remember how deep it was, what time of the year it was. This is a tip I don't do well. I wish I was better at logging my catches, but at least I have my videos to go back and watch those. Okay, so that's 4 tips, but knowing all the right spots and using the right lures won't help if you're not actually out there fishing. So tip number 5, it's the simplest, most powerful tip of all. Fish more often. Now, I know what you're thinking.
Thanks, Captain Obvious.
But stick with me here. The key isn't just fishing more, it's also making it easier to go fishing more. So here's what I mean. I keep a ready to go setup by the door. My batteries are charged in my cameras, my lines are checked, I usually have lures tied on. I mean, when you get a free hour or 2 on the weekend to go fishing, you don't want to spend half of that getting ready, right? In the time you're getting ready, I'm already on the water. I also like to keep portable setups in my car, just in case I see a fishy spot and I have the time to check it out. Now, I go to the next extreme too, and I also schedule my fishing like any other important appointment. So those full and new moon phases that we talked about, They're on my calendar. In fact, so are the quarter moons. And if there's a really good weather day coming up, it's blocked off on my calendar. I will move other appointments if necessary. But here's the real secret. Just stop waiting for the perfect conditions. Some of my best catches came on bad days. That giant bass that I showed you earlier in this video, I caught that in early April when most people were more focused on chasing trout than bass. I was the only fisherman on the water that day at a lake that is typically packed with fishermen. Because as you fish more often, you become more confident in what lures work and which spots to fish at a specific time of the year. Look, you don't need expensive gear, although it's fun to use. I mean, I buy a ton of fishing reels. You don't need a fancy boat. You don't need a kayak. You don't even need perfect weather. What you do need is you need to get out there and apply these 5 tips. Fish the moon phases. Slow down your retrieve. Don't be afraid to go small. Fish the right spots. And most importantly, just go fishing more often. Get out there. If you found this helpful, hit the subscribe button because I've got plenty of more tips and trips coming. Drop a comment below with your favorite time to fish, and I'll see you on the water.